And next, I'd like to welcome Katisha.
XE쪼 Antipatesap Yapawit a Quilksha sauce, Tanishan at Zartlip, Stallium, Swinamish Silk, Nilf Tenley Lonnie Riley, Nilf Men Yach Willipton, XE쪼 got Musqueam, XE쪼 got Siaya, Need to Tomoch, Thichum Eichnoaika, Eichgolo and Natsamat Mistimoch. Inaqua Ella Thatcha Ailey. Kaquella Pinchnukwa, Quilksha sauce and Squatchicha. In Kukwa, Iona Paul, in Spapza, Alec Dan, Na in Kukwa, Eleanor Wells, Kukshtamushkala. I have 3 names, and I'm so happy to be here. You can call me Katisha, but I also go by Quilksha and XEc'TH I come from the Zartlip, Stallium, Swinamish, and Syilx nations, and I'm so honored for everybody that is here today. And I apologize in my absence throughout the day, but I'm so grateful to be in your presence now. I thank the people of this land, the Musqueam Mistimuch, the people of the Rivergrass. I thank all of the leadership that is in the room. I thank all of our delegates and the rest of you, the youth, for making this possible. I am forever grateful for each and every one of you. This has been an impeccable journey, and I'm so thankful and so happy for each and every one of our participants in the Youth Policy Program. All of our efforts to make these policy proposals happen have been seen today, and I celebrate that with all of you. My policy proposal today is about the annual shadow report from the province. It comes out every June, and it is made with the Declaration Act Secretariat. This year, they released the 5th annual report, and within the past couple of years, they have received some feedback from First Nations saying that it was non-accessible. We want to make this more accessible. They had consulted with us as First Nations to determine whether or not the success of their action items within the Declaration Act Action Plan have been followed through, but to our dismay, consultation is not enough. We have to have a fully co-developed program in which Indigenous peoples, First Nations, have full authority, autonomy over what units of measurement are being used and how it is that our nations view the accomplishments or failures of the Declaration Act Action Plan and each of the ministries going through with their action items. In saying that, a co-developed indicator framework was announced in the latest annual report, for which I am thankful for, but an Indigenous-led system and institution is required for a paradigm shift from Indigenous compliance to Indigenous reliance. Within my policy proposal, I have 5 recommendations. My first recommendation is to honor First Nations' inherent right to self-determination. The government of BC has committed to implement the UN Declaration, which includes Article 3, speaking to self-determination, Article 4, expressing our right to autonomy and self-government, Article 5, gives light to our right to strengthen our distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions. Another one of my recommendations is to provide an increase in capacity funding to the First Nations Leadership Council and the Declaration Act Secretariat. The funding will be used for the development of a First Nations Declaration Act annual shadow report. We'll call that the shadow report for now, or Flintstone Minutes for in its abbreviation, with the first report being published for the year of 2025 to 2026. This initiative will fund infrastructure, First Nations engagement, appointment of an Indigenous data firm, and the delegation of a First Nations shadow report champion. In saying that, this Declaration Act annual shadow report for First Nations can't be taken out of the $200 million that is already being used for the Declaration Act Engagement Fund that BC releases for this initiative. I request the data to be used from the Indigenous data firm because we are self-governing nations. It is our right to be self-determining, and data governance means data sovereignty. We have this information that is being used for us, by us, to ensure that the government is seeing through to their actions underneath the Declaration Act Action Plan, and it is their responsibility to create a fund for us so that we as Indigenous peoples can determine whether or not the First Nations are being held to the highest account, and that the BC government is being held accountable to their actions set forth in the Declaration Act Action Plan. That is my time with you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Katisha. And last